U.S. government is funded by the rich, and it keeps the people on the brain level of children. They create the illusion that anything is possible. I'll tell you what this is. This is a mind-controlled dictatorship in the costume of democracy. The people that are representing you are bought and paid for to keep you stupid in your small, stupid little world. USA has 5% of the world's population and 25% of its world's prisoners. People go to jail because they have 10 grams of cocaine in their pockets. Half of the prisoners are in jail for drug possession, and more than half of them are black. Why does this absurd situation not get changed? I'll tell you why. Because Washington gets paid to keep it going by the prison industry lobby. You think because the Morgans, the Gettys, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, and other criminal assholes who founded America did something good with their charities, but you overlooked that they stole all their money and they never should have been rich in the first place. What I want from you, the crowd, is this, okay? I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is October 31st. Have you noticed when you flip through the different websites, the news, all that, you cannot find a non-bias article? It's either the left or it's either the right, and especially when it comes to war and political matters. But you can flip through, and anything about politics is going to be heavily biased, and, well, you can't find anyone in the center when it comes to political matters. But both sides agree on one thing: control. See, neither side can acknowledge their own role in what has happened to this country and the people in it. Each side points the finger at the other, and meanwhile, none of this shit could have been done without the two sides cooperating. I'm going to hit some of the key points in this particular article. We've gotten to the point where people use entire paragraphs as titles. And I don't believe in demonic evil, by the way. It's just evil. The sheer demonic evil is palatable. The globalists plans to kill us and our families to save the planet might be drilled by a planet-ending nuclear holocaust. That is fear-mongering right there. That's a great example of fear-mongering. You know, a nuclear holocaust occurred many, many thousands of years ago already on this planet, and somehow human beings remain. So democide means mass murder carried out by a government. And many of us believe the U.S. and other governments are deliberately destroying our civilizations, planning to exterminate most and eventually all of humanity. And it is becoming mainstream. More and more people are wising up, according to them. I don't see it. If what he means by wising up, people jumping off the liberal train and heading right, well, that's not really wising up. It's more of the same. You know, we've had these problems over and over and over again as a species. You would think eventually we would learn our fucking lesson. Of course. And I wish I could blame the education system, but I can't, because we used to have a better education system, and you see the result. But remember Barack Obama's bitter clingers comment. He clearly had nothing but contempt for most of the American people, and I would be willing to bet Donald Trump holds that very same contempt. Remember, Obama was connected to Bill Ayers, who advocated the extermination of millions of dissidents. And Hillary Clinton called most of us a basket of deplorables, and she said we were irredeemable. What do you do to irredeemable people? And of course, Clinton, both of them, all of them, her, Bill, and their daughter, Chelsea, they should know about irredeemable. I mean, that family has trails of bodies behind them, probably that could wrap around the planet. And we can't forget about Joe Biden, who had the audacity to fill up little girls on camera. Why is he still free? Why hasn't he been hung? I know. I'm promoting hate, right? Is that what I'm doing? Or am I actually promoting common sense? Common sense says if something doesn't work and it's been tried over and over again, common sense says it's time to scrap it and start anew. That's common sense. What people are doing, jumping from the left to the right, that's not common sense. It's insanity by definition. And these elites who clearly hate and despise us, and remember, Donald Trump is an elite. He is a billionaire. That puts him in that club. Have repeatedly stated the desperate need to suddenly and drastically reduce the human population of planet Earth to save the planet. Even though it's their corporations, the governments of this world, who have been the ones largely responsible for the pollution, the chemtrailing, and everything else. Let's not forget about all the toxins in the water. But, you know, high-impact flicks or high-impact vlogs, he'll tell you, God damn it, you're under attack, but no one will tell you what you should do about it. And those are their words. Deplorables. Bitter clingers. I could go on and on and on. Remember, these are the elites who have butchered over 60 million unborn babies in America. And a few have taken the next incremental step, suggesting that infanticide is now acceptable. And I covered this ad nauseum. You remember I talked about how they were trying to normalize pedophilia and infanticide. They want to give the woman the right to not only determine what she is able to do with a life inside of her body, but they want to give her a right to decide by the age 3, do I want to keep this kid or do I want it dead? that's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. And, of course, doctors have even drugged and mutilated older children to turn boys into girls and girls into boys. Even though the chromosomes are the same. If you can't change the chromosome, guess what? You can't change the sex. And that's just the way it fucking is. Do squirrels have transgenders? Do birds? Do rats? What are those? Muscats? Any of the mammal species? Do they have trans species, transsexuals? Do they have males acting like females and vice versa? No. We are mammals. And that's just the way it is. And we should not be pandering to these motherfuckers just because their snowflake feelings are getting hurt. And our glorious leaders have fluoridated their drinking water in some 70% of the American people. But, you know, instead of concentrating on our domestic problems, Donald Trump is... I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But if he's really on our side, don't you think he would order the fluoride removed from the water? Among many, many other things, like actual prison reform, criminal justice reform, do you think he's really on our side? How can he be when he owes fucking Jewish bankers billions of dollars? With that kind of liability, the only person's side you're going to be on, or people, are those who lent you the money in the first place. The crackpot and extremist John Birch Society first warned us of this mass poisoning decades ago. The fluoride compounds used are proven neurotoxins. They do bone damage. They cause heart disease, cancer, and contribute to the early onset of Alzheimer's. So, is your beloved president really on our side? Really? You would think the very first things he would want to take care of are the things that are killing us. If he actually cared. And they say the deep state movers and shakers are administering us substances that are known will do us no good and are likely to do us great harm. How obvious do they have to be? And I agree, except your beloved president, if he was really on our side, he would be tackling these issues. And not to mention the issues of you know, over 100,000 people a year going missing and just vanish out of nowhere. You would think that would be a priority too, but no. They don't even keep records. They don't even keep records of people gone missing from national parks. Did you know that? And they go on to talk about the so-called cure of various forms of cancer. The medical establishment and Big Pharma routinely inflict chemotherapy on sufferers. And by the way, people freaking out about overdose deaths, and they haven't even blinked an eye regarding the 250,000 deaths a year due to medical mistakes and probably intentional murder. So the drugs used cause nausea, weakness, hair loss, mental confusion, and many other symptoms. And they are themselves carcinogenic. Many patients have died, not from the cancer, but from the treatments. Somehow it's okay, right? It's okay that they do this when there's at least 10 known cures to cancer that don't require any of that shit. Okay, so suppose that Big Pharma and the deep state have deliberately suppressed more benign and effective treatments. Suppose that they are directly and deliberately responsible for millions of children and other hairless and vomiting and miserable, dying, slow, unnecessary deaths. Could the elites truly be that monstrous and evil? Ask the unborn they have butchered. And yes, the medical establishment ignores all of the promising alternatives. Let's get down to where we talk about nuclear war. Okay, where'd it go? As if all this was not bad enough, the elites are up to shit even worse. We know that our government tested germ warfare on U.S. cities back in the 60s and 70s and caused illness and at least a few deaths. We know that the mysterious Lyme disease first appeared directly opposite Plum Island, where the U.S. government researched biological warfare. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidence. Do you? Chemspraying from aircraft is a reality. Valid photographs can be found on the web showing actual nozzles, among other mechanisms, on these planes. Let me remind you, dried blood cells were found in some of the material collected after they sprayed the skies. What would they need to use that for? And all the while, the neocons, even Trump, has appointed to important positions, continue to stir up an irrational hatred for Putin and for Russia, and continue to involve us in unending foreign wars. We are edging, damn it, I'm not even going to try it. We're edging toward an unnecessary war with Russia, ending in a world-destroying nuclear holocaust. Again, nuclear war has already happened on this planet many thousands of years ago. If you want to know more about that, just look up green glass and the places they've been found. You'll know just where the nuclear conflicts of the past took place. But there's no how shall I say this? Both sides are biased for their own people, and both sides have to work together to get done some of these monstrous things. So don't go thinking the Republicans are some innocent group of people, because they're not. They have to cooperate with each other to get things done. So that means both of them are guilty of the crimes each want to focus on, the other does. So it's just more, and they're not going to be happy until we're all dead and the planet is a fucking wasteland. It pretty much already is. I mean, look at all the depleted uranium used over there in the Middle East. So, anyway, I thought I would talk to you all about this. Again, look up green glass, and you'll find all the locations that previously had nuclear conflict, or had been, or a nuclear device had been detonated there many thousands of years ago. That's how prophets know what's going to happen, because it's already happened. Doesn't that make sense? Take it easy, everyone. Kill the state, live free.